Qatar LNG deals. Plenty of action this year. Last year, you know the announcement which the oil and gas minister has mentioned, how 77 will move to 110 million metric ton North Field expansion. And now, what is the development for 2021? That's very important. Qatar-China deal is an important one. Qatar Petroleum tendered to ship owners for charter LNG carriers. Qatar UAE oil supply registration and restoration is happening. Global energy market and Qatar. If you look at the big picture, Qatar Petroleum will supply China Sinopec 2 million tons per year LNG for a 10-year term. That's a long term. The supply deal, which starts in January 2022, marks Sinopec's first long-term deal with Qatar. Although the Chinese national oil company has been importing Qatar LNG on a short-term basis since 2009. Since Qatar's first LNG delivery in September 2009, the kingdom has supplied China with more than 62 million tons of LNG. China is a key and strategic energy partner for the state of Qatar through our entire value chain. It also maintains a driver of the growth for global LNG market, and the government adopts increasingly progressive environmental policies. Qatar Petroleum tenders to ship owners for charter of LNG carriers. Qatar Petroleum issued an invitation to tender to ship owners for chartering the LNG carriers for its future LNG shipping requirements at its offshore North Field expansion and the Golden Pass LNG export projects in the US. The invite large group of LNG ship owners also includes options to replace time charters for a number of LNG carriers that will expire in the next few years. Upon receiving the response on the tender invite, QP said it will intend to assign selected ship owners to ship yards construction slots were previously reserved in China and South Korea. That's a big development. Qatar Petroleum tenders to ship owners for charter. It's happening across. In last year, April, QP announced $3 billion agreement to reserve LNG ship construction capacity in China, and in June it said 3 agreements in South Korean shipbuilding yards to reserve new build slots, over 100 LNG tankers at a combined cost of almost 19 billion, both to support its North Field gas expansion project and QP's future LNG carrier fleet requirements. The release of invitation to tender package is a major milestone in our efforts towards securing the most qualified ship owners and operators for the future LNG carrier fleet. Qatar UAE supplied restorations. Qatar exported shipments oil to neighboring country in the Arab Gulf states since Saudi Arabia and UAE and Bahrain imposed an economic embargo. So the restoration is on. First transaction is registered. Qatar, a small oil producer, shipped some 700,000 barrels to UAE in early March. Qatar exports around 500,000 barrels per day of oil and condensate, tiny amount of compared to the country's exports. If you look at global LNG market and Qatar, buyers are also now shying away from going into long-term contract. It's been a buyer's market for some time. The coronavirus repercussions led to the delayed investment decisions. Sanctioning are picking up, which means buyers may go back to longer-term contracts to ensure security of supply. The above analysis is important with respect to how the market is working. Supply security is a key. As the market continues to grow, obviously we see the spot market growing some, but I don't see displacing long-term contracts given the criticality of the, of supply and security. We see long-term contracts for some time. State-owned QP ensure its stability in its massive LNG projects by inviting international companies to become partners. Partners would take about 30% of the development cost. We look for ExxonMobil to be one of the partners going forward. We have always been an excellent partnership for gas development, and ExxonMobil is the biggest partner for LNG Qatar has got as on date. So interesting developments, the shipbuilding, the LNG long-term contracts, while predominantly it was short-term driven in the current context because the buyer's market are all getting changed. Now, Qatar's concerted vision to invest and ensure a big market share in terms of LNG, because they can bring down the average cost and make sure they make the most out of it in terms of the gas exports.